When a business trades, it buys and sells, and as a result of buying and selling, it generates financial documents. In this task, what we're going to do is see how we can analyze a financial document. In particular, we will look at the main features of an invoice in helping us analyze financial documents. So let's have a look. The features of a valid invoice include things like the address, status of a document, how accurate that document is, and VAT, areas of VAT. So let's look at the address. Invoices must be addressed to the business or department within an organization. The name of an individual may also appear as long as this is an authorized signatory. The document must be an invoice rather than a delivery note or order acknowledgement or a statement. Some invoices from smaller entities may not contain all of the details for VAT purposes. If the word invoice appears on the document, then it should be treated as an invoice. In looking at the accuracy as one of the features of a valid invoice, what you tend to look out for is the gross value in the invoice should be arithmetically correct. That is, the subtotal plus the tax, if any, should give you the correct gross value. And then in looking at VAT, invoices that charge VAT must contain all of the following details in addition to those given above. It should contain the entity's VAT number, the entity's trading name and address, the description of goods and services, the invoice number, invoice date, time of supply, that's what we call the tax point, if different from the invoice date, and the analysis of VAT charged, including value and rate used. So let's look at an example of an invoice as it is to help illustrate these points. So in analyzing an invoice, here's what you need to know. The entity sending the invoice is the supplier and will normally have their name somewhere at the top of the invoice in big font. In this invoice, it is Vanstone, marked with a 1. The customer is the entity the invoice is addressed to and will normally be in the area marked 2 in this invoice here. In this case, the customer is Horizon TriStar Limited. You also need to remember to make a note of the date of the invoice, and that's marked by the area 3 on this invoice, and the invoice number marked by the area 4. Next, you need to verify that the goods or services stated in the invoice, the area marked 5, were actually ordered and received by the organization. And finally, you need to check that and verify that the figures add up. So when you look at 6, you have the net amount, which is quantity times unit price for those two items, gives you a subtotal, and then there's a tax rate of 20% and gives you a sales tax of 2,246 and 44 pence, and then a gross total of 13,478 and 64 pence. So looking at this, you get an idea of how an invoice is analyzed. And it's similar to other financial documents. Those are the key things you look out for. The name who is sending the invoice, who is receiving it, date, number, the amounts, and what is described in the financial document. I hope this helps you next time you get a financial document to analyze it properly. Thank you.